Women don't listen to men in relationships and marriages because it's all goes back to lack of fatherhood, lack of fathers in the home, and lack of husbands. So women are literally, they don't understand the correction from a man because of, not having a father in the home or not seeing their mother with a husband. I really think it's foreign to a lot of women to have that correction in the household. So, but what one thing we are used to in the Black community is paying all due respect to that job, right? Like, oh, I'm not gonna be at this because I gotta work, mama gotta work, daddy gotta work. So people will do what they have to do in order to keep that job in line and that career in line. But when it comes to the home, that correction from a male figure is missing with Black women, I feel.
Mm. That correction is black. Is it only black women?
I
I
think
feel
it's
that's what a main part of it is, and that what we're talking about.
I
Okay,
think
so no Asian women, just black women.
I mean, this kind of goes back to the same conversation we were talking about before with child support, the Black community. I don't believe other communities as far as marriages. We are the least married, right? Black women are the least married out of everyone, right? So if you're not getting married, that means the relationship is struggling, is not getting to marriage, or people are picking wrong. So it all goes back to women not being in line, women not wanting or valuing families, valuing communities. I think it all goes back to that lack of fatherhood, lack of male figures in the home, and lack of correction. If you didn't see your mom and your dad have a healthy relationship as far as the balance of power in the household, and you didn't see your father as a young girl, like, correct you, love you, but also correct you as well, I think you're going to struggle with that when it comes to adulthood and dating men in relationships, and a man being like, hey, no, we're not going to move over there, we're going to do this, or we're not going to go this way, this route. Like, I hear you, I listen to you, I respect you, I love you, I value you. But as the man in the house, I feel like this is what we're gonna do, and I feel this is best for our family. If you haven't seen that before, it may be a very challenging and a friction, very like rigorous process for you to deal with it. But what we do see in our community is us and our family and our parents and just people around us valuing their career and jobs, and everything will fall and suffer, but that job and what we want to do and how much money we want to make, that's going to be the main priority.
I think it's Casey. I agree with that. Because a lot of the time that's the case, but then it's like deeper too. It's just the American culture. It's America that is pushing how you should live. And if we want to just talk about the TV, the television of, the reality TV, even the songs, I finally like listened to the radio today, and I'm like, the songs are terrible. It's not even talking about marriage, right? So our kids are listening to this. Some of us are listening to it, I'm saying, bopping our head to it, even though some of us may not be living that lifestyle, but we're still listening to these songs. So it's more to it than that. I think that people in this society like to use like the system. So they have the system in place. Some of it was to help, and some of it was to destroy. So people take, oh, okay, wow, if I get married, okay, I could divorce him and he's going to pay me alimony, right? Those type of things will make somebody do something like that because they want to use stuff because they're lazy. They don't want to work for what they can get. They don't value like the things that they should be valuing. Their morals are not in place. So when you have individuals in the world that only look to use somebody, they will. So, but that's America though. And then there's other places, it's not always like that. You can't just get a divorce just because you want to. You have to have a reason. You have to have witnesses and everything to, plead your case. Here, you could just, I want a divorce tomorrow. Okay, sign this, pay that, and be done with it. And another thing too, I think, to answer the question, as far as like Christians, right? There's Christians that are in this world that they don't, to me, read the Bible fully, but they want to be married. In the Bible, it literally says that Christ is the head of a man and the man is head of the woman. So if you look at just that alone, I think that's 1 Corinthians 11:3. If you just look at that whole chapter alone, it's showing that the man is the head of you as a lady. And we're not even looking at that, but we're, some of us are saying you're Christians, but you're not even looking at that verse to say, okay, well, I need to respect my man. But you go to church and you put on fancy clothes looking nice and respecting that. But what that verse say though? Because I'm not saying you can't respect Christ and the Lord and all that stuff, but yeah, you got to respect your man too. You have to consider everything. You have to be a wife. People are not even being wives today. So when it comes to like the question, of course, they're going to listen to their boss because that's who they're looking at as their gods. They're looking at the boss as their God. They're not looking at, your household and that, that space as into something that you want to worship and praise. They're worshiping money. So when you worship money, what comes with that? Of course, you're going to worship anything that's going to give you money instead of looking at the overall picture. Like what that girl said, the boss could fire you tomorrow. So you can't just depend on that. You should depend on your family and work collectively in that way.
Well, just so you know that husband has to be following Christ to get that respect. If he's not following Christ, then
I feel that. I think
ahead,
women just need to stop. I'm sorry for cutting you off. I just think women need to stop, and men. Matter of fact, let's make it both. Women and men need to stop getting in relationships if they're not healed yet. As some of what I do with my job, I talk to ladies, I talk to men, and a lot of times they know they're not healed yet, but they don't want to be alone. Those abandonment issues, like what Casey said, all those problems start to set in. And they're like, well, I'm not healed enough to be a good partner, but at the same time, I don't want to be alone. So I'm going to use my looks, my prestige, or whatever it is I have to offer to finesse someone into this relationship with me. And then I'm going to break them down. We're going to break up. Now that broken man is going to go to another woman, break her down, and the cycle remains. People need to just heal. Take some time to heal. Focus on God. Focus on career. Focus on school. Focus on something and heal yourself before you guys keep getting in all these partnerships and relationships. Because honestly, if your boss is constantly correcting you at your job, you're the problem. If every job you go to, you're constantly getting corrected and your relationships aren't lasting, y'all are the problem. Heal yourself, fix yourself, self-improve before you decide to hop in and decide you want marriage and kids and all of this. Like, if you can't serve God, you can't serve your man, you can't serve nobody if you can't take care of yourself at the end of the day. So yeah,